Have you ever, really looked at the swirl of a galaxy? Or maybe just the curve on a snail shell?
Mm.
Or even like a hurricane on the news? It's kind of weird how they all
Yeah.
look similar, right? These really different things.
Yeah, it is striking.
Makes you wonder, are they just, I don't know, pretty coincidences? Or is there something else going on, like a hidden language, some script the universe is following?
Well, that's exactly the big question, isn't it?
And that's really the heart of our deep dive today. We're getting into something called motion theory, hidden universal patterns of nature.
Right.
The idea, basically, is that there's this fundamental language, a grammar, really, built into how things move, structured motion, and it connects everything, absolutely everything, from huge cosmic stuff down to, like, DNA.
It's a pretty profound idea.
So our mission for you, listening in, is to pull out the key bits from the source material here, to see how this structured motion links it all together. Think of it as a shortcut to getting your head around it, maybe having a few of those aha moments.
Yeah, those moments are what it's all about.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Motion theory. What's the core idea it's really proposing?
So what's really fascinating here is that motion theory suggests that structured motion is underneath every single thing we see, every phenomenon.
Not just random movement, but structured.
Exactly. It's not just that things move, but how they move. They follow these repeatable, self-organizing patterns. You could call them motion loops, often cyclical or continuous.
Okay.
And if we can sort of unveil these universal motion rhythms, we get a much, much deeper understanding of what's governing everything. From how galaxies form to, like you said, how genetics works.
And the key is these patterns repeat.
That's crucial, yes. It highlights that patterns aren't just stuck at one scale, they repeat everywhere. It's like a cosmic recursion, you could say.
Wow. Okay, so not random, but like fundamental building blocks, almost like an alphabet for reality.
That's a good way to put it.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The theory points to 10 specific universal motion patterns. These things pop up across all scales. Let's start with one that's maybe the most obvious visually. The spiral sync pattern.
Ah, yes.
You see it in galaxies spiraling, right? Hurricanes, whirlpools, snail shells, even how some plants grow.
Yeah.
And incredibly, the structure of DNA. It really feels like it's just everywhere.
It really does. And, the source material explains that spirals aren't just pretty shapes. They're actually nature's most efficient way to balance inward compression, pulling in, with outward energy expansion, pushing out.
Efficient? How so?
Well, this efficiency is why they seem to be nature's go-to for structures that need to be durable but also grow. It's like a blueprint for complex systems to expand without falling apart or losing stability. They form naturally. As these motion loops try to find the best rhythmic stability under whatever forces are acting on them, they settle into the most harmonious, long-lasting rhythm possible.
Right. So spirals handle growth and expansion. What about stability? Like keeping things steady and flowing inside. That sounds like the next one, the pulsation and breathing pattern.
Exactly.
It feels like nature's heartbeat, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You see stars pulsing, our own lungs breathing in and out, tides, heartbeats, obviously.
Yeah.
Even whole ecosystems seem to expand and contract over time.
That nature's heartbeat analogy, that really nails it for the pulsation pattern. It's absolutely vital. It maintains internal stability. It lets systems manage their energy and synchronize what they're doing.
So they can survive changes.
Precisely. It ensures they can exist sustainably, even when the environment around them is constantly shifting. It's a core rhythm for life and sustainability, a controlled back and forth that stops things from just collapsing or expanding wildly.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And then there's the branching and fractal pattern. This one is amazing because you see it in lightning bolts, which are so sudden. But also in how trees branch out, how river deltas form, our circulatory system, even our brain's neurons. It's kind of mind-blowing how this fractal pattern just keeps showing up at different sizes.
It really is mind-blowing. And the source clarifies that branching isn't random either. These patterns are about maximizing efficient coverage, distributing resources in the best way, making sure transport and connectivity work effectively.
So finding the easiest path.
Sort of, yeah. Structured motion naturally looks for the most efficient paths to handle energy and information. And fractal branching gives you this amazing blueprint for scaling up infinitely without losing that connection. It explains how a huge river delta can work with the same efficiency principles as, the tiny neural networks in our head.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Beyond these big flowing patterns, how does information itself travel and, combine. That seems to be the wave interference pattern.
Yes, interfere.
Ocean waves overlapping, sound waves creating resonance, even quantum particles interfering with each other.
Yeah.
And our brainwaves synchronizing. It really does feel like a communication mechanism.
That's precisely the idea. Motion theory sees interference as the fundamental way motion loops communicate. It lets them combine or stabilize each other or even cancel each other out, but in coherent ways.
So it's how simple waves build complex interactions.
Exactly. It's how information gets exchanged and processed across different scales, building complexity from simplicity.
And when motion finds that perfect balance, that equilibrium, we get the standing wave pattern.
That's right, standing waves.
Like atoms holding stable orbits as standing waves, or musical instruments making notes through resonance, planets finding stable orbital resonances, even biological populations hitting a stable level. It's like a perfect steady hum.
A steady hum is a good image. Standing waves pop up whenever motion settles into these really stable, perfectly repeating setups. They're great at storing energy efficiently. Resonance becomes central to stability.
So it's finding stillness within motion.
Kind of, yeah. A consistent, unchanging state, even though there's constant motion underneath. It's a point of perfect energetic balance that allows systems to just persist.
Okay, so nature has stable patterns. But things change, right? How does it adjust and stay balanced? That sounds like the feedback resonance pattern.
Yes, feedback is crucial.
You see it everywhere. Echo chambers, predator-prey cycles bouncing up and down, economic fluctuations, even our own hormonal systems trying to stay level. It feels like the universe's built-in self-correction tool.
It really is. Feedback loops work dynamically to stabilize these motion rhythms. They allow for continuous adjustment. This resonance ensures systems can adapt, they can maintain coherence, even when outside conditions are changing all the time. It's absolutely essential for the dynamic equilibrium that keeps life and complex systems going, always trying to get back to balance.
Dynamic balance.
Yeah.
That ties into the next one, maybe? The helical flow pattern.
Ah, the helix. Yes.
We're talking water flowing through pipes, the funnel of a tornado, DNA's double helix, obviously. Even those huge cosmic jets shooting out from black holes. It's not just a twist, is it? There seems to be a real efficiency there.
There absolutely is. Helical motion is incredibly efficient. It lets energy move linearly straight ahead and rotationally spinning at the same time.
Ah, okay. Best of both worlds.
Pretty much. That balance ensures stability even under tight constraints. It shows this optimal energy efficiency. It's like the universe's elegant trick for moving energy and matter with minimum loss while keeping the structure solid.
Then there's one that feels very alive. The synchronization entrainment pattern.
Collective behavior.
Yeah, like fireflies all flashing together. Or birds flocking, fish schooling. Even us, our sleep cycles synchronizing, or cells coordinating inside our bodies. It's like this amazing collective dance.
It is beautiful, isn't it? And this pattern happens naturally when individual motion loops sort of align their rhythms. They come together to form bigger, stronger systems.
Safety in numbers, but also efficiency.
Both. This collective coherence boosts survival, efficiency, resilience. Synchronization is fundamental for complex structures and societies to even form and last. It's how all these separate little units become a powerful, unified whole.
Okay, last one. And this feels like it underpins almost all dynamic systems. The alternating current or oscillation pattern.
Oscillation, yes.
Right.
Like the back and forth.
We see it in electrical currents, obviously.
Yeah.
But also predator-prey numbers going up and down, neurons firing rhythmically, economic cycles. It's that constant ebb and flow that keeps things moving, stops them from just getting stuck.
Exactly. Oscillation is about balanced energy management. It maintains that dynamic equilibrium we talked about and prevents things from just collapsing into a static state.
Yeah.
These oscillation patterns optimize how energy flows and how responsive a system is. They ensure adaptability, longevity.
So it's about constant adjustment.
Constant dynamic adjustment. It stops things from burning out or freezing up, keeps the system alive and responsive.
Wow. Okay, so we've walked through these 10 distinct patterns. Spirals, pulses, branching, waves, loops, feedback, helices, sync, oscillation. What does it all mean? How do they connect into one big idea about reality?
Well, the core insight of motion theory is actually quite simple, but it's also really transformative. It's that nature just endlessly recycles these fundamental motion patterns over and over across completely different scales.
So they're not just coincidences.
Not at all. They're logical outcomes. They're almost inevitable results of structured motion just resolving itself under different constraints, different conditions. Historically, we humans put these things in separate boxes. Biology, geology, cosmology.
Right, different sciences.
Yeah. But motion theory says, hold on, maybe they're all just expressions of the same universal motion grammar. Motion itself is the common language that ties it all together. It simplifies what was chaotic into something, well, elegant. It asks us to stop looking just at the thing and start seeing the way it moves.
That is a really powerful shift in perspective.
Right.
So why should someone listening right now care about this universal rhythm? What's the relevance? How does this apply to, real life?
That's the key question, isn't it? If we connect this to the bigger picture. Understanding these universal motion patterns, it really changes how we might innovate, how we interact with the world. We could move from just observing things in isolation towards a more holistic way of designing things.
How so? Give me an example.
Okay, well, think about engineering. Instead of just building static things, maybe it becomes about rhythmic optimization, creating structures that are adaptive, self-stabilizing, that kind of resonate with natural efficiencies.
Interesting. What about, say, medicine?
Medicine could evolve, perhaps, into restoring rhythmic coherence in the body, not just treating symptoms, but focusing on harmonizing the body's natural rhythms that might have gone out of sync.
And for something like sustainability?
Well, there it seems obvious, right? It would mean focusing on maintaining natural rhythmic cycles, trying to harmonize human activity with ecological rhythms, aiming for a more balanced coexistence. It really makes you ask, what if we designed everything, our cities, our health systems, our economies, with these fundamental rhythms in mind?
It really is a huge shift, a different way of seeing. Motion theory is saying everything, from the tiniest cell to a whole galaxy, follows these universal rhythmic rules. And by tuning into these patterns, maybe we unlock huge possibilities for innovation, for healing, for harmony. The world isn't just random pieces. It's deeply rhythmic, profoundly interconnected.
That's the essence of it. Nature's hidden sync rhythms, they've always been there, just waiting for us to see them. Now, maybe with motion theory, we can see it more clearly. Everything moves, everything repeats, everything connects.
So a challenge for you listening. Start looking for these patterns. In your own life, in the world around you, see what you notice. You might be surprised at the connections you start to make, the new insights you uncover.